Winter depression, reaching out for help. LanLaw Country cheering us up. And what would George Carlin think about what's going on in our country today? All that and more today on the number 2 show, baby. And we're back. Hello, Flush Mob. Hello to the Bowl Buddies, the Lou Crew, the Bowl Patrol, whatever we're going to call the fans of this show. I welcome you to another episode of the number 2 show. I'm your host, Rafe Williams, and I'm happy to be here today to be doing a show with you. Now, today's going to be a little mini episode. It's going to be a little different than other episodes because my buddy Riz isn't here. He's been busy the last couple of weeks. We got a tight filming schedule. I had to do some stuff today, so I'm just pumping out an episode. I'm just pushing out a little mini turd for you here today in the number 2 show studios. And you know, I said up top, I'm happy to be here. That's a lie. I'm barely happy at all because it is fucking fool's spring again here in the Midwest. Second time I've been fooled by warm weather. It's been freezing cold, winter depression. The world's in shambles. We're living in a simulation. Everything's crazy. That's right. The truth of the matter is, the world we live in sucks a big fat fucking cock right now. And I'm tired of pretending like it doesn't. I'm barely hanging on by a thread, if I'm being honest with you. I've had a horrible last few weeks of my life. But here I am, putting on a happy face, sitting on a toilet with a talk show desk in front of me, doing a show for you, the people. Because sometimes, when you're a man, no one cares about how you feel. You just come to work and you do it anyway. So here we are. But honestly, sometimes it'll get you out of the funk, and sometimes you do just have to plow through. So if you're out there and you're feeling like shit, and you're questioning the world you live in, and you got winter depression, and you feel like shit, and your relationships aren't going well, and your friendships are crumbling all around you, I just want you to know you're not alone. Even cool guys with their own talk shows feel exactly like you feel. I feel like that sometimes. I think it's okay to, sometimes I think there's a stigma around talking about feeling like a big pile of shit. We all feel like a big pile of shit sometimes, and what better place to talk about feeling like a gigantic, steaming, peanut-filled corn cake pile of dump than here on the number 2 show. So let's talk about it. I did have something crazy. I just want people to know that, like, I feel like everyone I talk to privately and secretly feels like, like, hey, man, are things good in America? And generally, everyone privately will admit to me, nah. And I'm not talking about any one side or the other. I'm trying to keep this as apolitical as possible. I think everybody feels like shit. You're coming off winter. We're in an uneasy time. There's wildfires everywhere. There's a lot of massive changes happening real fast that maybe they'll be great, like everyone thinks. Maybe they'll be terrible, like everyone knows they will be. But we'll see. But I spent the day yesterday feeling kind of down in the dumps. I'll be honest with you, man. And it's all relative. I know people out there have it worse than me. But hey, man, my life's been falling apart all around me. Things happen like that sometimes. And what sucks is we live in a capitalist society where you just got to keep plowing through, even when you feel like shit. And I want you to know that it's okay. If you need to take a mental health day or you need to take some time off, it's cool. I'll tell you what happened to me yesterday that made me realize that the world is completely caving in all around us. And it's very humorous. I want you to know that. Because sometimes you got to find a way. That always helps me get out of depression. You find a way to get levity out of things that are going on in your life. So here's what happened to me yesterday. And I posted this on my Instagram, so I'm just going to read it out loud. I put up a meme. Then I forgot to put up the funny part, so everybody was worried about me, which is worse. So I'm good. I want people that did check in to know that I'm good. I said, my toxic trait is this. And today I realized how truly unwanted it is. And my toxic trait was just a little meme that says, I hate small talks. I want to talk about aliens, magic, death, atoms, intellect, and the meaning of life. Faraway galaxies, the lies you've told, your flaws. Your favorite childhood sense, your childhood. What keeps you up at night? Your insecurities, your fears. I like people with depth who speak with emotion and a twisted mind. I don't want to know what's up. And I thought about this yesterday. I went to get a haircut yesterday, and I was sitting out in front of the place where I get my haircut, and I was an hour early, So I was like, you know what? It was kind of a nice day. It's full spring. I don't know how many of these we're going to get. So I sat down, I popped the squat, and I was sitting on a ledge, and a lady, an unhoused woman, came by, and she was like, hey, you got a couple bucks? I want to get a sandwich. And I was like, you know what? I do have some cash on me. And I was just feeling good. Sometimes catch somebody on the right day, I'm like, maybe I'll feel better if I help somebody else. Because a lot of times that's what I try to do. When I'm feeling like shit, the easiest way to get out of my funk sometimes is to do something nice for someone else, kind of get out of your own, I'm not calling it a pity party because sometimes you got real problems and it's okay to feel shitty. But sometimes that's how I deal with it. Good or bad, that's the way I usually am. Is I'm like, well, go do something nice for somebody else or do something that serves someone besides you. So I gave the lady $20, no big deal. Pretty good, I think, considering she probably thought she was going to get like $1 out of me or something. Gave her a 20. She's like, oh, my gosh, thank you so much. Oh, you sure? Yeah, I'm sure. You take that. And I go, how have you been holding up this winter? And she's like, pretty good. And I go, I got like 30 minutes to kill if you want to sit down and just have a talk. And she just goes, hey, man, I ain't got time for nothing heavy. I'm trying to get a sandwich. And she walked away. And I was like, damn. I just got rejected by a person that's got no job and no house. Even they didn't have time. Like, everyone's so stressed out in this world that even that lady was like, I ain't got time for this shit. She wasn't trying to have a heavy conversation. She just wanted to get a sandwich. And you know what? Respect to that. I've been that hangry before where I'm like, man, now, is there a chance that sandwich that she's talking about is a crack rock? Maybe. I don't know how she spent the money. That's none of my business. I gave it to her to be spent at her discretion. I trust her judgment as a human. But I've been that hangry before where I wanted a sandwich and nobody was around to feed me, or I didn't have anything and I almost swung on someone. So I get where she's coming from. I'm not saying she's a bad person. I'm just saying it was kind of a wild time. And I was feeling like shit, but it made me laugh. And like sometimes I think you got to have, even though it was the ultimate exclamation point on an already sad day, sometimes those type of things, the universe delivers those things for you in moments of need. And I felt like the universe kind of delivered that for me where I was like, man, no matter what, that was fucking funny. That this lady just fucking bounced on, just basically said, talk to the hand because the crack lady ain't listening. And she's out. And I shouldn't call her a crack lady because I don't know. She seemed fine. She was maybe thin because she lives outside. Or, maybe she's on Ozempic. I don't know. And if she is, and then she needed that to lose weight, I don't judge her for it. I think it's a good thing. I don't like when people judge. But whatever it was, goddamn, it was funny. So I started thinking about, things that I do cheer me up when I'm sad. And sometimes, I got a real mixed relationship with social media. I was talking about this on another show today. I live in an industry where I work in comedy and radio, and the name of the game is how many followers do you have? And sometimes I get sucked into my phone too many hours of the day, whether it's being a creator. And I realize the irony of this. If you're listening on a device right now or you're watching on YouTube, I understand that I'm biting the hand that feeds me in this moment, okay? You don't have to put that in the comments, but you can if you want because every comment helps, even bad ones. But I want to throw my phone in the Mississippi River at least 10 times a day. I want to go to a bridge and I want to throw my phone in and be like, I'm finally free, and then just go on walkabout like Mick Dundee and Crocodile Dundee. For those of you that under the age of 40 who don't know the Mick Dundee reference, there was a very popular movie in the 1980s, which was before the turn of the century, about a lovable scamp from Australia named Mick Dundee. And he comes to New York, and his colloquial, simplistic nature and cool Australian accent charms the pants off of a uptown New York socialite lady reporter named Sue Charleston. And they fall in love. And Paul Hogan is great in it. And one of the things he does when he lives in Australia, as you find out in Crocodile Dundee 2, the sequel, equally good, flip the script, Sue has to go to Australia now and see how Mick lives out in the bush. And boy, it's a laugh riot. But you learn that Mick Dundee sometimes disappears for 6 months at a time and goes on a thing called walkabout. What do? You just walk about. You just disappear. No one hears from you. And I'm like, man, I see the allure in that. Sometimes I'm driving my car and a Waylon Jennings song or a Highwayman song comes on, and I'm like, man, I'm about to get the fuck out of here permanently. I'm just going to drive to the coast and start a new life. I think about it. I don't do it. But I want you to know if you think about that too, you're not a weirdo. Unless I'm the only one who thinks about that, in which case this won't be relatable at all, and I am a fucking weird guy. But I think there'll be people that do relate to that. One of the things I like to do when I'm feeling down in the dumps is I go to things that cheer me up. I'll tell you what's been cheering me up lately. I'm a big country music fan. Speaking of country music and the Highwaymen, I love country music, but sometimes I feel like new country isn't great. I've talked about this before. But there's a couple of boys down in Nashville that go by the name of LanLaw Music that are changing my mind. Because these guys love what they do. Is it good? No. I'll be honest with you. It's not. But these guys are having fun, dude. And they love what they do. Does the music sound like they put a country music word cloud into ChatGPT and got a song spit right back out at them? And did they bother to use auto-tune? No. Can either of them carry a tune? No. But does that stop them from getting back-to-back and making 25 different music videos for the same exact song on Instagram? Hell no. These boys are committed to their craft. So I want to play a little bit of that for you right now because you might be depressed. I'll tell you what, this will cheer you right up. So here's just a snippet of these two brothers called LanLaw Country.
It's waking up, busting your butt, trying to earn a little extra pay.
Come on!
It's taking her out when you get off to the creek for a fishing day.
It's a way of life, it's choosing right, it's praying when you get home. It's black nights, it's a ride or die down the two-lane back road. It's waking.
Damn, bro. Come on, are you kidding me? Was that one enough? Here we go. You want to hear it again in a slightly different?
It's living life without a care, 'cause nothing can bring you down.
Woo!
It's Sunday morning, dressed your best in a church pew cross town.
It's honky tonks and bar fights, George Jones on the radio. It's up in the stand waiting on a deer with the compound ready to go.
Now, I normally don't like trolls, but some of the comments, man, are very good. Somebody said it's Toby Queef and Alan Jacksoff. Come on, that's funny, man. I'm sorry. I don't want to hate on these guys, but Brooks and Please Don't. Brooks and Please Be Done. There's some good ones in here, man. Let's see here. Where's some of the other ones? But you know what, dude? They take it in stride, and they're pretty good. Another comment was, hey, buddy, I got a song idea. It's a whole lot of redneck references leading to no point with barely passable vocals. Let's post it. And that's what they did. It's respecting authorities, hating minorities, trying to bang your cousin after church. You know, like if anything works, really. Man, I'm in a better mood right now just having listened to that, man. And, like, I respect the hell out of these guys because I get it, man. I put comedy clips out, and everybody's got a goddamn opinion, but I love that they've just leaned in, and they don't really care. They're just doing their thing, and I respect the hell out of that. Let's see if ChatGPT could just write me lyrics. All right, let's see what he's It's dawn's first light, boots on tight, harvesting fields of gold. Grandma's recipe for sweet iced tea, stories of days of old. It's a front porch swing, guitar strings singing under the moon's glow, where the fireflies dance and every chance we make memories that overflow. It's country to the bone. I mean, dude, I can't tell the difference. Can you? That's crazy. It's Friday night, stadium lights cheering for the hometown team. It's Saturday fairs, homemade wares, cotton candies with peaches and cream. It's a county line where the stars align, bonfires that warmly gleam. With friends so true and a sky so blue, living out their shared dream. It's country to the bone. Man, that is honestly, I think these guys did put this in ChatGPT. That is just the song. That's not the song, but that's the song, you know? And honestly, I'm not just hating on these dudes, okay? Because I don't want to do that. I'm already feeling bad. I don't want to make other people feel bad. I respect the fuck out of these young men for trying to make their dream come alive. And honestly, what they're doing isn't worse than what's coming out of mainstream Nashville. They're just copying what they see. But that's kind of where we're at with country music. And man, the amount of music videos these guys made back to back, and they've gone viral with it. There's like 2 ESPN reporters that do their own country to the bone.
Little extra pay.
It's taking her out when you get off to the creek for fishing day.
These guys do this every day.
Life is choosing right. It's praying when you get home. It's black nights. It's a ride.
Anyway, congratulations to LanLaw, a couple of brothers just out there doing the best they can. I ain't mad at you. And if you're out there and you're feeling like shit and you're feeling the real springs around the corner, hang on tight. We're all going to get through this together. And when we get back, I'll talk about what's going on in this pile of ash that we used to call the country right after a word from our sponsor. All right, and we're back. Welcome back to the number 2 show. Thank you to all of our corporate sponsors that make the world go round. I'm your host, Rafe Williams, and this is a segment I like to call The World's on Fire. So, some of you may be out in the world wondering, like, hey, man, is everything going okay in our country? And I'll be honest with you, I don't think it is. It's kind of wild to me, some of the things that I see going on, and I think this attributes to the way everybody feeling a little melancholy and down in the dumps. It's like, you know, there's a lot of crazy stuff going on. And I watched the Saturday Night Live movie on Netflix yesterday, and I really enjoyed it. If you haven't seen it, I say check it out. I believe it's called, Josh, is it called Saturday Night? Do you remember?
I think so.
I think it's called Saturday Night. If not, look it up on Netflix. It's a movie. It's filmed in real time. I think it's Jason Reitman, and it's filmed in real time the 90 minutes before the first episode of Saturday Night Live comes on. And man, it was well done. You forget, you know, what an important moment in American counterculture and the zeitgeist that was to have that show come out when it did, you know, 50 years ago. And there's a lot of people that criticize SNL now. We talked about this today on the other show I'm on. Someone said, would you rather be Rick Rubin or Lorne Michaels? And I said Lorne Michaels because I think what he created and the time he created it was really important. Because it railed back. It was a part of the counterculture. It railed against the ruling class, and it ruled against the people, the authoritarianism, and it ruled against a lot of things that were happening in our country at that time. A lot of the criticism of Saturday Night Live now, which I actually agree with, is that it stopped being a counterculture show and became a culture show when it started letting the people it was lampooning in on the jokes. For instance, when they let Sarah Palin come on while Tina Fey was doing Sarah Palin, they let Sarah Palin in on the joke, right? Instead of actually being critical of these people the way they were when, you know, Nixon was in office when Saturday Night Live started. And, you know, and that has continued over time. They've let politicians host. I mean, our current president, I believe, has hosted Saturday Night Live, which would probably make the original host roll over in his grave. Because George Carlin was the original host of Saturday Night Live. And I think about this a lot. When I see what's going on in our country, look, and I'm not trying to get political. I know a lot of people don't tune into this pod to hear politics, but I don't think – here's the thing that's weirdly political to me. we have reached a point in our society where hating Nazis makes you an extreme far-left radical liberal. And I got to tell you, brother and sister, if wanting to punch a Nazi in the fucking face or a white supremacist in the face is your idea of neoliberalism, you've lost the plot, my friend. What fucking country are we living in where this is a debatable thing? What country are we living in where people in charge can openly mock, whether they're doing it on purpose, it can openly appeal to that base, to the base of people who still cling to that belief system. The losers of World War II, that's the funniest thing. It's the same. People love losers, dude. It's the same people that want to dress up as the Confederates worship Hitler, the biggest fucking loser of World War II. It's crazy to me how many people get obsessed with the losing side of things. But I just think it's crazy that we live in a world where me saying fuck Nazis or I want to punch a white supremacist right in the teeth is a political statement. And I think about that. That's fucking crazy, man. But that's kind of where we are in this country. We're so polarized that all of a sudden, the original comic book character, Captain America, the entire thing was created in World War II, and it was all about punching Nazis in the face. He was the ultimate soldier, the super soldier, Captain America. And now we're like, well, not everybody that voted for him is a white supremacist. That's true. I don't think that. But all white supremacists voted for him. So you got to kind of live with that, right? Like, that's still a fact that you have to reconcile on your own. And that's a crazy thing. That's a crazy thing to know exactly who all the white supremacists voted for. That's insane, dude. And look, I'm not trying to bust anyone's balls. Vote for whoever you want to vote for, okay? I don't need a bunch of comments. I don't need a bunch of emails. I'm just saying it's crazy. And I started thinking about while I was watching this SNL doc. There's an old George Carlin bit, and I believe it's from, Life is Worth Losing. And it's a chapter called Dumb Americans. And I'm glad we segued off that land law stuff into that. Because I feel like a lot of people that love that shit probably love this shit. But this is a bit probably from 2005. So this bit's 20 years old. It's from a George Carlin stand-up special. It's called The Owners of This Country. Now I want to play it. Then we'll dissect it a little bit. And I'll tell you why it's been on my mind.
Politicians have traditionally hidden behind three things: the flag, the Bible, and children. No child left behind. No child left behind. Oh, really? Well, it wasn't long ago you were talking about giving kids a head start. Head start, left behind. Someone's losing fucking ground here. But there's a reason. There's a reason for this. There's a reason education sucks, and it's the same reason that it will never, ever, ever be fixed. It's never going to get any better. Don't look for it. Be happy with what you got. Because the owners of this country don't want that. I'm talking about the real owners now. The real owners, the big wealthy business interests that control things and make all the important decisions. Forget the politicians. The politicians are put there to give you the idea that you have freedom of choice. You don't. You have no choice. You have owners. They own you. They own everything. They own all the important land. They own and control the corporations. They've long since bought and paid for the Senate, the Congress, the state houses, the city halls. They got the judges in their back pockets. And they own all the big media companies, so they control just about all of the news and information you get to hear. They got you by the balls. They spend billions of dollars every year lobbying to get what they want. Well, we know what they want. They want more for themselves and less for everybody else. But I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them. That's against their interest. That's right. They don't want people who are smart enough to sit around the kitchen table and figure out how badly they're getting fucked by a system that threw them overboard 30 fucking years ago. They don't want that. You know what they want? They want obedient workers. Obedient workers. People who are just smart enough to run the machines and do the paperwork and just dumb enough to passively accept all these increasingly shittier jobs with the lower pay, the longer hours, the reduced benefits, the end of overtime, and the vanishing pension that disappears the minute you go to collect it. And now they're coming for your Social Security money. They want your fucking retirement money. They want it back so they can give it to their criminal friends on Wall Street. And you know something? They'll get it. They'll get it all from you sooner or later because they own this fucking place. It's a big club, and you ain't in it. You and I are not in the big club. And by the way, it's the same big club they use to beat you over the head with all day long when they tell you what to believe. All day long, beating you over the head in their media, telling you what to believe, what to think, and what to buy. The table is tilted, folks. The game is rigged. And nobody seems to notice. Nobody seems to care. Good, honest, hard-working people, white collar, blue collar, doesn't matter what color shirt you have on. Good, honest, hard-working people continue. These are people of modest means. Continue to elect these rich cocksuckers who don't give a fuck about them. They don't give a fuck about you. They don't give a fuck about you. They don't care about you at all. At all. At all. Man, you know? And nobody seems to notice, nobody seems to care. That's what the owners count on, the fact that Americans will probably remain willfully ignorant of the big red, white, and blue dick that's being jammed up their assholes every day. Because the owners of this country know the truth. It's called the American dream, because you have to be asleep to believe it.
Well, I think about that clip often, and thank you, George Carlin, for that. And I'll wrap. This is going to be pretty quick. Here's my thoughts on this clip, and here's why I went back and revisited it today and wanted to share it on here, because I was like, man, after I watched SNL, I started thinking about George, and I'm like, man, what would he think today? If he were alive to write another hour of comedy, man, I can't even imagine. This is a 20-year-old clip. Does it sound familiar? Do the things he's touching on sound anything like what might be happening in the zeitgeist today? I think so, with a few exceptions. And this is what's crazy to me. In 20 years, all we've managed to do in that bit is eliminate some of the middlemen he talked about.
Forget the politicians. The politicians are put there to give you the idea that you have freedom of choice. You don't. You have no choice. You have owners. They own you. They own everything. They own all the important land. They own and control the corporations. They've long since bought and paid for the Senate, the Congress, the state houses, the city halls. They got the judges in their back pockets. And they own all the big media companies, so they control just about all of the news and information you get to hear. They got you by the balls.
Instead, we don't have politicians owned by the owners anymore. We just elected the owners. We cut the politicians. Instead of cutting the politicians out of the deal and electing people that are statesmen or middle-class folks into the position, we just put billionaires in charge. We just said, hey, you guys are pulling the strings anyway. Get in there and fuck shit up. Move fast and break stuff. Well, they're doing it. They're doing it. And some of you are like, well, that's what we voted for. Okay. Well, you live with the repercussions of that. Because sometimes maybe moving fast and breaking stuff isn't exactly how our government was designed. That's just me. Our government was designed to move incrementally and to have things change slowly, because when you bankrupt the business, you know, you open a taco stand and it goes under, well, people don't have tacos. You break a country, you no longer have a home. You no longer have a nation. And I think the stakes are a little higher, so maybe moving fast and breaking stuff. But it's interesting to me that all we really did was just elect the people that are the owners of the country to just be in charge. And there's people out there talking about being okay with a dictatorship, which is crazy to me. Like, look, man, I don't care who you voted for again, but I don't want a king. You shouldn't want a king either. I certainly don't want an autistic king by his own measure. I know everybody says you can't talk bad about Elon. I ain't talking bad about the guy. I'm telling you by his own admission, I saw an interview with his dad that said he's autistic and he lacks empathy. That's his own father who said that about him. Said he's great at business, but he lacks empathy. It is a flaw. But you're putting him in charge of programs that are built on empathy. These are human programs. There's a part of the Constitution we forget about, of the people, by the people, for the people. We forget that last part, for the people. Sometimes I'm like, well, some of these programs, call me crazy, may cost money. Yes, they may be of a high cost. One of the programs that's getting cut, and I know this firsthand, friends that work at the VA, is outreach for veterans, suicidal veterans with PTSD. Departments are being gutted that specialize in research on veterans with post-traumatic stress disorder who are suicidal, and we're losing lots of them every day. And people at the VA had to turn their social media accounts off because there's moles in the organization spying on them to report if they say anything bad. Not about the president. That's fine. Sometimes when you work for the government, you're not allowed to talk bad about the sitting president. And that's okay. But they're getting in trouble for saying this bad stuff about Elon Musk, who was not elected, by the way, but somehow is giving press conferences from the Oval Office, which is a crazy, unprecedented thing. I'm not saying it's bad or good. I'm saying it's unprecedented. That raises flags for me, and I'm pretty impartial. I'm not a flaming liberal. I'm definitely not a crazy Republican. I know you're not supposed to talk about politics. I'm just a guy. Just a guy living in the Midwest doing the best I can. But I think it's crazy that we put someone who's lacking empathy in charge of slashing budgets of programs that were built on empathy, whether it's empathy for our veterans, which, quite frankly, that nobody sucks the veterans harder than that side of the aisle. But that's only if they're fighting wars. If they survive the wars, you got no use for them. And that's an interesting thing to me. That's an interesting thing to have, because I have a brother who's got PTSD and he's on full disability. So that's an interesting thing to me personally, that you don't seem to be interested in programs to help him once the war's been fought and won. I wonder why that is. I think about that, and it weighs heavy on me. They also want to cut out school lunches, right? I was a kid who had school lunch. They want to cut out free lunches because it'll save money. And I'm like, all right, that's fine. Right now, and it's in their proposal, schools with 25% of their student body living below the poverty line have access to free school lunch. I had free breakfast and lunch as a kid, and I needed it, man. We didn't always have food in the house, and it kept me fed. It kept me from being hungry while I was trying to learn. And I believe and my numbers may be a little off, but it's somewhere between 70 and 80%. They want to raise that number from 20% or 25% to 70 to 80%, meaning 80% of the students in that school have to be living below the poverty line in order to have access to free lunch. That's going to eliminate almost all free lunch for students in this country, in public schools. So, even though it may save a ton of money, you're letting veterans die and you're starving children at school. Does that sound like what you voted for to you? Because I sure as hell don't know anybody who would have voted for that. And that's kind of wild to me. And when I think about it, it makes my heart sad, because those are very personal things to me. But I also think that it's kind of wild that sometimes something may cost money, but you may be able to save money on cutting a program, but what other costs are we incurring by doing that? And I think that there are gray areas there and questions that need to be asked, and I think that requires people with experience and people with empathy. And right now we have a non-empathetic 50-some-odd-year-old man with a bunch of 18-year-old kids who never lived life, don't have families, making these decisions as auditors that I think are probably a little premature for the country. Now, the second thing I want to talk about in the Carlin video that I was kind of blown away by is he says that they want obedient workers.
They don't want people who are smart enough to sit around the kitchen table to figure out how badly they're getting fucked by a system that threw them overboard 30 fucking years ago. They don't want that. You know what they want? They want obedient workers. Obedient workers. People who are just smart enough to run the machines and do the paperwork, and just dumb enough to passively accept all these increasingly shittier jobs with the lower pay, the longer hours, the reduced benefits, the end of overtime, and the vanishing pension that disappears the minute you go to collect it.
Well, they don't even want that anymore. They're laying people off left and right. And it's not just liberals, guys. It's everybody. Everyone's taking a hit. I've seen MAGA people on the internet saying, I got 20 years in, I was a smoke jumper or a firefighter, and I I was just told my job was redundant and pointless, and I was let go.
I wrote a blank check to the American people that said payable up to the value of my life. And this is the return on that investment that I've gotten. It's really, really hard to take. Really hard to take. I've saved lives dangling off of cliffs in the North Cascades. I saved the life of a cardiac patient on the Natchez Loop Trail just outside Mount Rainier National Park. I stood in the way as 100-foot flames burned toward the town of Natchez, and myself, along with numerous other now fired federal workers, prevented that town from burning. I have always placed myself between the danger and my fellow citizens. And now I feel like I've been cast aside like some sort of parasite class or some kind of fraud. These heartless and gutless firings will lead to the loss of lives and property.
So we're not even trying to, the middle class is being eliminated. And I get it. Hey, we're saving money. We're cutting federal jobs. That's cool. But you're cutting jobs. That means unemployment's going up. The amount of uninsured Americans is going up because a lot of these people, they're not soulless NPCs in a fucking video game. These are people with families. These are people with husbands and wives and children. So if you lay off 3,600 forestry workers, let's just say half of them are married. Let's round it off to 2,000, 2.5 kids apiece. You now have 6,000 to 7,000 uninsured American citizens, but you don't want to pay for health care. You're cutting Medicaid and you're cutting Medicare also. So where do they go when they get sick? Are you going to create a mortgage crisis? By all these people getting laid off from these jobs, who's going to pay the mortgage on their homes? I don't know if that's a thing or not, but it's something I think about. And it's something I think we all should be thinking about because that's the crazy thing to me is that he was like, oh, they only want obedient workers. Well, in 20 years, they don't even want that anymore. They just want your money. You can go fuck yourself. If you want to be successful, you better start a business. I don't know, man. I don't know if that's good or maybe it is good for our country. Maybe I'm a dipshit and I don't know what I'm talking about. That's possible. I'm willing to admit that. And I think if more people would admit that, we could have better conversations about this kind of stuff. And third and final thing is he says they want it all and they want it back and they're coming for your Social Security and they're going to fucking get it.
And now they're coming for your Social Security money. They want your fucking retirement money. They want it back so they can give it to their criminal friends on Wall Street. And you know something? They'll get it. They'll get it all from you sooner or later because they own this fucking place. It's a big club and you ain't in it. You and I are not in the big club. By the way, it's the same big club they use to beat you over the head with all day long when they tell you what to believe. All day long, beating you over the head in their media, telling you what to believe, what to think, and what to buy. The table is tilted, folks. The game is rigged. And nobody seems to notice. Nobody seems to care. Good, honest, hard-working people, white collar, blue collar, doesn't matter what color shirt you have on. Good, honest, hard-working people continue. These are people of modest means. Continue to elect these rich cocksuckers who don't give a fuck about them. They don't give a fuck about you. They don't give a fuck about you. They don't care about you at all. At all. At all. Man.
Let me tell you, it's happening. There's people with 20-plus years in government jobs that are not going to get pensions or they're going to get laid off or already have been. That they're not going to be able to draw on money that they've saved on a system that they've paid into. Right? Your Social Security money pays for Medicaid and Medicare. It's being slashed left and right. Your Social Security pays for government programs that are being slashed. Are they going to give that money back to you? Are we all getting Social Security return checks? I haven't seen anything about it. I don't know. Again, not an economist. Maybe I'm stupid. I'm sure plenty of you are going to tell me in the comments. All I'm saying is I think it's okay to question what's going on in our country. And if you feel like stuff is changing a little too fast and maybe things aren't being thought through, you see a lot of stuff in the news. I mean, people are being fired and then they're searching for people that the nuclear, maybe we don't gut the nuclear programs first. Maybe we just chill on that. But whatever we're doing, I think George Carlin would probably have a lot to say about it. And I tell you what, I wish George was alive today because he's a better comedian than me. And he would probably have better, more astute, less rambly thoughts about it. But that's what I had going on today. I'm doing a quick little ep. I wanted to play that for you. And you know what? I think that's going to be it. This is just a little mini a little mini vent episode, and that's okay. So we're going to take a break, and we'll come right back with the wrap-up. And we're back. Thanks for tuning in and listening to the number 2 show. I know today was a little heavy. I know today we waded into some murky waters people aren't going to like. But you know what? I don't give a fuck. I had a fun time, and I think we got to have hard conversations like that. I still love you. If you voted for Trump, I ain't fucking mad at you. I still love you. If you voted for Biden or Harris or whoever the hell the Democrats decided to run, I ain't mad at you about that. If you voted for a third party, you're a fucking moron. But that's fine. I'm kidding. We need a third party. Of course we do. I don't know why I'm talking politics. I'm just fucking around, guys. I'm a comedian and I'm dumb. But I had a good time hanging out with you today. I wanted to put an episode up. This is the episode. If you're having problems, man, you're feeling sad, it's okay. Reach out to somebody. Don't ever be afraid to reach out to your friends. Know that you're not alone. Know that if you feel like the world you're living in is on shaky ground, that a lot of us feel that way on both sides of the aisle, and that's okay too. Talk to people you love. Have hard conversations with people you care about. And if you like the number 2 show still, after this episode, we'll see. Be sure to like and subscribe and share and leave a positive review if you can on Spotify or Apple or wherever you listen to podcasts. And guys, if you didn't agree with everything I said, that's totally cool, man. We can all disagree and still love each other. So, you don't have to roast me in the comments. You don't have to send me any hate mail or anything like that. Not that you would. Some of you might be like, hey, man, I get where you're coming from, and I hope that that's the conversation we can get started. But if not, I guess don't like or don't subscribe. But just, don't give me a 1-star review. That's shitty. Don't do that. Just ignore it and stop. You probably would have stopped listening by now anyway, I'm pretty sure. So until next time, I'm your host, Rafe Williams. I'll see you on the next episode of the number 2 show. Riz will be back, and we'll be having fun again. Bye.